Welcome back to Casual Bias Rugby. 64-21, end of the match in Bloemfontein. Springboks victors over Portugal. This is the instant match review, no notes, just off the cuff what I was feeling during this game. First and foremost, credit to Portugal for having a never dying attitude. Always still, you could see when they celebrated the tries at the end, what it still meant to them. The occasion was big. But I don't know what I was watching at some point. It felt like I was watching the Barbarians. 20 minutes with 13 boys on the field, 14 men on the field for 80 minutes of the game. Obviously, Andre Esterhuizen getting a red card 2 minutes into the match didn't do us any favours. Portugal had us on the ropes in the first 10 minutes. They deserved to try there at the end, but then they obviously got that interception or kick through try to give them that 7-0 lead, which they so much deserved. Andre Esterhuizen, I heard some commentators saying it in the halftime interval, where they said, listen, should that have been a red card? I don't really have an opinion about it. Like, I can't see the clear head contact, but then also I can see the guy getting knocked out literally before he even hits the ground, which kind of gives you the idea, okay, there was a head collision, which makes it a red card because it was a massive hit. So we literally saw the death of someone today. Hopefully he is okay. Obviously I just made a bit of a joke with it, but overall, hope the guy from Portugal is okay. That wing of them, absolutely insane. But as you know, I am South African, so I'll mostly speak about the South African performance. I've got the team in front of me, just like running through some of them and their performances. As I've mentioned on Safas Unscripted, it's like it was kind of a lose-lose situation for the Springboks and the players, when it's like, if you did well against Portugal, it's like, well, it's only Portugal, so you expect it to do well. But if you lose or don't do as well against Portugal, it's like, oh, well, you couldn't even do well against Portugal. So it was kind of a lose-lose situation, but some guys really stuck their hand out and said, listen, I'm fighting for a position in that Springbok jersey, which you can only play what's in front of you, right? The standout performance right off the bat in the front row for me, Johan Grobler, was absolutely insane. In my opinion, he was man of the match. I'm not too sure who got it. If I'm not mistaken, might be Mapimpi, might be Erge Snyman. But Johan Grobler, absolutely immense. We knew Portugal was going to come out firing at the start, and they're going to be up for it at scrum time, but they only lasted for about 15 minutes when it came to their physicality, and then the Springboks just kind of ran riot when it came to scrum time. Jan-Hendrik Wessels put in a shift, Thomas du Toit put in a shift, but from the front three or the front row, Johan Grobler, absolutely insane, in my opinion. Moving on to the locks, Salman Murat and Erge Snyman. Erge Snyman, great game. He really got onto some of the Portuguese guys' skin. I don't think Holly was the biggest fan of Erge, to be fair, which is fair enough. He's a bit of an instigator. Salman Murat, very up and down performance in my opinion. Like, he didn't really show up physically, but some of the other stuff he did was very good again. When he got that ball as like the close first receiver, popped it up to the back. He did some of the dirty work, and that was the main thing for me, is just to see our boys do dirty work today. I said it on Safas. I don't want us to see this game as, oh, it's just Portugal, everyone wants to score a try. I want our cleaners to be at the ruck. I want our guys to go full on at the breakdown, wipe through these guys, get your hands in the breakdown, try and get that ball. Literally all the dirty work stuff, put in the tackles. Don't just all just stand there waiting for the ball, trying to score tries. And in the first 15 minutes, it kind of felt like we were seeing that. And then, obviously, I don't know if there was a message or something that came through, but then we finally got our act together, and it looked a lot better. Pepsi Buthelezi, bit of a quiet game in my opinion. Obviously scored a try on debut. We had a couple of guys that scored tries on debut. So commiserations to them. Is it commiserations or well done to them? Pepsi Buthelezi probably... It wasn't really at the races, in my opinion. Maybe I just didn't keep much of an eye on him compared to Ben Jason Dixon, who I thought had an absolutely scintillating game. He really had a very good game. He is someone that's really been fighting for a position in that box lineup. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a good couple of minutes in the Rugby Championship. Evan Roos had an absolute horror show. And I am a massive fan of Evan Roos. You guys know it as well. I love Divan, but there's a reason that he got subbed at literally, I don't know, was it at 50 minutes? I don't know. It was a tough watch. It was a tough day at the office for Divan Roos. Maybe I watched another game, but yeah, I just don't think he did himself a lot of favours necessarily. And then obviously the big talking point will be Manie Libbok with the missed kicks. I think he had like 2 from 5 or 2 from 6 or something, where Sasha came on and what at a literally 100% kicking record. But if you take away the kicks, Manie Libbok had a great game. He really controlled that backline, especially if you have a player less in the backline with the impact of Andre Esterhuizen. So it was a tough day at the office for Manie Libbok from the kicking tee, and in the end, he is also there to kick. So I'm pretty sure every time that Sasha lined up the kick and he kicked it over or he slotted it, Manie's heart just like kind of sunk in a bit deeper every single time that the ball went over. Kobus Reinach, as we know, could have scored a try literally in the first minute, but he knocked it, or the ball was a bit behind him. And then I thought, listen, if he scored that, he's going for a world record hat-trick once again. He had a decent game. Obviously, he got taken off at about 45 minutes for Krappie to come on. Van den Berg to come on, who also had a decent game. Yeah, the combination of Reinach and Manie worked very nicely, especially after the first 15 when we had some clean ball and some open field to actually work with. Obviously, can't speak about Andre Esterhuizen, and the guy played literally 2 minutes. Lucanio Am, immense performance. Underrated shout also for man of the match. I know he didn't score or anything, but the way that he covered the wing and the centre position, he was absolutely brilliant. He was calm, cool, composed. He was at a lot of breakdowns, made a lot of tackles. He was creative. Just an overall good game from him. Makazole Mapimpi, as we know, gassing it as always. He was there doing dirty work as well. I was really impressed by our wings, especially in that first 15 where I felt like we didn't do the dirty work. I saw Kurtley Arendse at the breakdown. I saw Makazole Mapimpi at the breakdown. Like they understood the assignment and they knew what was needed of them. So I was really impressed by both our wingers. Obviously, we expect them to score the tries in games like this, and they did. So well done to them. And then finally, Fassi, I also thought he had a bit of a quiet game, but obviously he had a fantastic assist to the try of Kurtley Arendse. That was absolutely brilliant. He didn't get tested much under the high ball. He did get beat on the outside. It looked like he maybe slipped, but I think he could have done a bit better in their final try that they scored. But yeah, overall, the first 15, if you take away the first 15 minutes that was played, all of them had a pretty good game. Now, obviously, that is being said with it's just Portugal, but as I mentioned, you can only play what's in front of you. But the bench, really, they really came in and almost lifted the spirits. Andre Venter coming on, getting onto the score sheet. He was great. Mchunu and Trevor Nyakane, didn't see too much of either of them, but obviously they still took the momentum that we had at scrum time. They just took it forward, right? We knew when it came to the physicality, especially when the bomb squad comes on, they will still do their job. They did their job. Ruan Venter, he didn't play as much as all the others, but absolutely brilliant when he came on. Really, really, in that final 10 minutes, he was brilliant at the carries. I think he put in one massive hit as well. Really standout performer for me as well. Just for the quick cameo that he was on the field, he's got a massive future for the Boks. He could have an absolutely massive future at the Boks. Just off that performance, Ulrich Louw came into that 8th position from Divan Roos. Didn't see him carry the ball too much, but once again, he was that guy that almost just did the dirty work or did what was necessary of him to do, which is good. But then obviously, when we talk about the backline replacements, Morne van den Berg came on, decent game, got blown up for a quick, for taking too long the one time. But other than that, he had a sound game. Sasha Feinberg, wow. Absolutely wow. We've said it how many times, where it's like, if you just watch how talented this guy is, he's got a massive future. 21 years of age or 22 years old, absolutely scintillating. He's so calm. The try assist for Mapimpi, that little dink there at the end for where Kurtley Arendse almost came through, that 50-22 that he kicked from literally about 60 meters out. It's just the calmness, 100% kicking record, the carries, the pass, the everything that he does. And I always say Damian Willemse is the best player in the world. Sasha Feinberg might be the second best player in the world. I can't wait to see that combination. That's not obviously after Villiers gone, which Damian Willemse had 15 and Sasha in that 10 position. Because they're getting mentored under two of the best to ever do it in the Springbok jersey. Getting mentored under Andre Pollard and Willie Leroux. That is absolutely massive for the both of them. Both of them will have long and healthy futures for the Springboks. Hopefully. And then finally, Kuan Horn coming from the bench. Also scoring a try. Getting a yellow. I wouldn't say unlucky yellow because it was a bit cynical. Deserved the yellow card as well. By the way, the yellow card on Kurtley Arendse, I didn't know that literally any form of a croc roll gets you a yellow card. That might be the softest yellow that I've seen in my life. In my life. But anyway, I mean, some of our boys, well done to our boys anyway. I know it's just Portugal, but to go out there and play for 20 minutes with 13 players and still outscore them, you have to commend that. Like, it was brilliant. Our guys were out on their feet at the end of the game. You could see it. It was hot there. They ran this field up and down. What a lively game. Brilliant entertainment for the crowd. I just think overall it was a good advert for rugby in terms of Portugal didn't play a weak South African team. They really showed up. They had us on the ropes at the start. They scored the first points. South Africa playing with 13 men on the field. It was just brilliant overall. I'm very happy. Let me just say it like that. I know it was Portugal. We expected a victory. I would have been very angry if we didn't win, because it would have been the upset of the century. But overall, I'm happy. Some guys really stood out. Others kind of just flew under the radar. But what can you really say? I'll see you next time, and then we'll start talking big games, rugby championship. Thank you.